So this presentation is to help with errores comunes in pretérito imperfecto. More precisely, it's meant to use both tenses. And what I've done with this is I took the rule form that you did before break, and I went and I saw the ones that had the most errors, and I developed more examples based on that. So where I want to start out, on the screen, you're going to see characteristics that could describe either when the preterite is used or when the imperfect is used. And then I want you to choose based on these three, are all three with the preterite or all three with the imperfect. So I want you to try. So which verb is used with more specific actions, has more accents, and used with completed actions? So you choose preterite or imperfect. Got your answer? If you answered pretérito, you are correcto. Muy bien. Next one. These verbs are used to, are essential to move the story forward. You could write it in your diary. It is stated exactly when it happened. It is stated how many times it happened, once, twice, three times, etc. So are these características of the pretérito and the imperfecto? And I included the meme for you. Querido diario, mi novia me dejó porque dice que soy un exagerado. And if you answered the pretérito, very good. Again, those are the characteristics of el pretérito. Let's see how you do on the next one. These verbs are used to describe something general, ongoing. They are essential in a story for setting the tone. They happened in the background while something else happened. Pretérito imperfecto, have your answer? If you answered imperfecto, you are correcto. Muy bien. And then we have that these verbs are used to describe a person or character, used in the setting of a story, used to tell time and weather, and describe recurring actions. So which is it? Pretérito o imperfecto? Yes, it is imperfecto. Lo latinaste. Muy bien. Now these verbs are used in the past tense, used in storytelling, and some verbs are irregular. Pretérito imperfecto. And this one is a trick one because it is used with both. Both the pretérito imperfecto are past tense and used in storytelling. Both have some irregular verbs, although the pretérito has way more irregular verbs. The imperfecto only has 3 irregular verbs. So that is why you need that green sheet that has all the irregulars and irregular sounds, because it's really difficult to memorize them all. Now, these are the examples from the Google form. And a lot of people got these wrong, so that's why we're going over them. The sentences, eran las 3 cuando me dormí. Those are what the answers should have been. But many people thought that the form of ser should be in the preterite because it's a specific time. That is true. However, the form of ser should be in the imperfect when telling time because it is part of the setting. Time is setting. However, what happened at that time, me dormí, should be in the preterite because the time that it happened was stated, okay? So I know a lot of people see time, well, that's specific, yes, but it's the setting of something that happened there, okay? So just remember that time is part of the setting. And here's another example. Tenía 7 años cuando fui a México. So many people thought that the form of tener should be the preterite because it is a specific age. However, just like the previous one, the form of tener should be in the imperfect when telling time or telling age because it is part of the background information. So what happened at that age, fui a Mexico, should be in the preterite because the age that it happened was stated and we can assume it happened once at that age. So that this makes it specific for this action here. But this again is part of the setting. The age is part of the setting. I know it's counterintuitive because you're thinking, well, it's a detail, it's very specific, but it's a detail that's in the background. And then we have the background versus a principal action. Mientras caminaban, vieron un oso. Mientras is an important word for this lesson because mientras means meanwhile. So it is the clue that the action is in the background. The background action, caminar, is in the imperfect. The interrupting action, vieron un oso, they saw a bear, is in the preterite. So that can happen quite often. And mientras might be a clue that that verb that follows mientras is going to be in the imperfect because it's setting up the sentence for an imperfect action. Another example, cada verano mi familia y yo íbamos a la República Dominicana. Cada verano means each summer, making it a repeated action, and imperfect. Other words that imply imperfect are siempre, a veces, nunca, muchas veces, de niño, generalmente, normalmente, frecuentemente, todos los días, de vez en cuando, a menudo, or if you state every day that it happens. So that word cada means every summer. So that implies it's repeated action. And we know with repeated actions, we use them perfect. Now there's the hyperlink down at the bottom of the presentation. And that is where you're going to find Quizlet lists for all these words that are at the bottom. So if you don't know what these words mean, you can find the meaning there. And if you want a list for the preterite words, you can also. But by no means are these definites, absolutes. So you, and especially with the list for the preterite, because you can have a lot of those preterite words that might come before it that usually use the preterite, but under certain circumstances use the imperfect. Sorry. Okay, cuando ellos estar por el parque. Oh, I'm sorry. This one you're going to have to put the verb in parentheses into the preterite imperfect. Okay, so you need to decide which of these verbs is going to be preterite imperfect, or one of could have one of each, or both of them the same. So cuando ellos estar por el parque, de repente ver una serpiente. Now here's a clue. De repente means suddenly. Okay, you chose your answer. Let's see how you did. Cuando ellos estaban por el parque, de repente vieron una serpiente. So the first verb needs to be in the imperfect. Estaban, estar becomes estaban, because that's the setting where they are. And de repente, suddenly, that's going to be a setup to use the preterite and the verb. Then they saw a serpent or a snake. Another little quiz. Mientras hacer mi tarea, mi padre entrar a mi habitación. So remember what I said about mientras. Okay, you have your answer? Okay, mientras hacía mi tarea, mi padre entró a mi habitación. And so that's an ongoing action, mientras, and an interrupting action. Mi padre entró a mi habitación. And here's another one to quiz yourself. Ser la una cuando el profesor llegar. Era la una cuando el profesor llegó. Era la una is the setting, so that's going to be an imperfect. El profesor llegó, he arrived. That's what happened at that time. So the first one's an imperfect for the time. Second one is the action that happened at that time, so that's preterite. Next one. En la primaria, todos los días ir a la escuela, jugar con bloques y robar la comida de mis amigos. What tense are these verbs going to be? Okay, vamos a ver. Aha, another trick one. They're all in the imperfect. We have todos los días, and it's also implied that this is what you did when you were young. And so they're all going to be in imperfect. Remember, our whole chapter on childhood, that was all in the imperfect. So I don't want you to think that when you have two verbs or more than one verb in a sentence that you have to do some in imperfect and some in preterite. Hoy en la mañana yo levantarme, desayunar y ver Netflix todo el día. Ok, hoy en la mañana me levanté, desayuné y vi Netflix todo el día. So I don't remember if you recall way back when we saw those children's stories, when we had this series of events, like Goldilocks, went out into the forest and found a house. So when we had those series of events, they were all in the preterite. So this is the case. I got up, I had breakfast, and watched Netflix all day. And just because, another reason why I put this in, it has todo el día. I don't want you to get confused with todo el día and todos los días. Todo el día is all day. Todos los días is every day. So todo el día can be all day, but it's still a specific time, and so it's still going to be the predicate. Todos los días implies a repeated action. Okay, now I want you to let me know how you feel about this. Thumbs up, you understand it, enough to move on. Thumb in the middle, you need a couple more exercises, which I will happily give you, or thumbs down. Let's start again from the beginning. We can start over. And then also, last year, I want you to write some suggestions as to what I can do to help you or what you can do to help yourself. And let's just watch Little SpongeBob. Okay. Hopefully this helped you. Okay, adios. Do with the information I just gave you. So coming up, you will have a speaking exam, and you're going to make a video where you have a background action, a principal action, like the examples in this video. Um, and you're going to be able to act it out and turn it in on Flipgrid for your compañeros to see, or you can just make a Google slide with audio and visuals on the audio, and just record yourself in the audio and turn that into Google Classroom if you don't want to share with the class. For the listening exam, you're going to hear several narrations about things that happened um, to a native speaker, and you will have to answer comprehension questions and questions about why they used each tense, like why did they say their age in the imperfect, that type of thing. The reading exam, congratulations, you're already done with that because that was the Google Forms and the Felipe Allo. And then for the writing exams, you'll be writing an original story in the past on Google Slides. You're only allowed to use words from your personalized list from this unit, so hopefully you have kept adding onto it. You can also use words that we've learned previously this year. I just don't want to make sure that it's not from Google Translate. And so you'll be turning in your personalized list, so make sure that that's up to date with all the things you've been recording throughout this unit. Okay, hopefully that